Welcome from the deep. I am Mike the Finder.
And I am Book of Brett.
And today we're going to be talking about the 2016 film The Void, but we've got a very special guest. We've got Josh from the VHS Files podcast back. It's good to see you again.
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
I know that you've recently started a new channel.
Ah, yes. Yes, for anybody that's heard me on this show before, yes, I'm the host of the VHS Files podcast, but I have started a new channel called Body Bags.
Because you're a glutton for punishment?
If you're a fan of Dead Meat and the kill counts and all of those sort of videos, it's literally just right up that alley, except I'm tackling like all the cheesy 80s horror, all the cheesy action stuff from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Just finished out doing the Terminator franchise, so all 6 Terminator movies I've covered on there as of now.
Poor bastard.
That's a daunting task.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part, but there are a couple of those Terminator movies that are not. I will never watch them again.
Yeah,
a couple, 3 of them,
at least.
Mostly 2, but 3 usually. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, the other thing I wanted to say was that if you haven't gone and check out the VHS Files podcast, go check them out, because if you do like us, you will like them. And then for sure, go check out the Body Bags, because I've been watching them and they're really good, dude. And people are not making content about action movies in the same way that they do horror movies. So the niche that you were filling is very smart. So
yeah, I figured someone had to give it a shot for all the. I mean, I love Roadhouse just as much as I love Halloween.
Roadhouse.
So,
Wait, what?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up watching that movie, so I figured I could talk about it with the same sort of authority as Halloween.
You don't strike me as a swayster, is all. So.
A swayster?
Oh, my God.
A swayster.
Swayze was
you
a
can't call him
staple in my
Swayze like
house.
Swifty, because that doesn't. It sounds so much like Swifty. So, yeah, all you people out there that like Patrick Swayze, you are now swaysters.
Swasters. Well, I'm a Swifty too, so.
Oh, we should probably just get into the episode, huh?
Yeah. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about The Void today, and we actually did something cool. We let the guest pick the movie. This is right up the alley of what we've been trying to do lately. We've been moving over into sci-fi horror a little bit more, and I think The Void fills that very well.
It also alleviates us of responsibility, because if it's just like a really shitty movie where people are like, "Why would you do that?" This guy.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
No.
Yeah, it's all my fault this time. I don't know.
We're really good at alleviating ourselves of responsibility.
Why The Void?
Why The Void? Well, I mean, I was trying to go for more of a sci-fi horror, because that's what you were asking about,
right.
And everything I kept coming up with was short. I would say this is probably more of a cosmic horror, but
yep.
you could throw it into the sci-fi category.
100%.
But I watched this movie a few years back, not really knowing anything about it, just sort of intrigued by the cover art of the poster.
It's really good.
And this was a movie that I turned on, and by the end of it, I was like, what? That was not at all what I was expecting to watch. And like, this is a case in point of a movie where the less you know about this movie going into it, the better, I think.
I would agree with that, because I knew nothing going into this film, and I was watching it, and the progression of my emotions was, oh no, to what the fuck?
That's a good term for this movie. What the fuck? The first time I saw this was in 2017, which was the year after it released. I didn't know anything about it going into it, other than it was, quote, Lovecraftian, which, it is. But it's also body horror and sci-fi all kind of wrapped up into one thing. And so what the fuck is a very good term for this movie.
I would say, me being a gigantic John Carpenter fan, if you're a John Carpenter fan, I don't see why you wouldn't like this movie. It's basically an amalgamation of every movie John Carpenter's ever done.
That's a good way to point it.
Well, except Titanic.
Titanic?
We did Titanic. Oh, that was James Cameron.
James Cameron, buddy. Cameron, and the blue people, the Avatar, blue people.
Yeah. I need everybody to know I didn't actually think that. Just please keep going.
Okay. Well, like I said, I've seen this before. I kind of knew what I was going into, getting into this. I did not remember it that well. This is only my second time seeing it. So when I went into this, I remembered things here and there. But I was equally like, what the fuck again this time? And I think that's a good thing for a movie like this, that it does stand up to a second watching, because it's very obvious to me that the first time around, like you said, Brett, you have no fucking idea what's happening. And the second time around, even though you know what's coming, it's very easy to still be able to get into this and to be shocked by what's happening in front of you.
Well, dude, even from the outset, like the very opening scene, you still have like no clue what's going on. Like this could be anything, and I think that's a really good way to start the movie out. Like they're coming out. He's dragging another guy out of a house. Something's gone down. A lady is screaming. You assume they just did something awful to her, and then they light a man on fire. And that's kind of, I mean, it could be going anywhere. They could be intruders. It could be a revenge thing. And so the movie starts out very ambiguously. And I think that's the perfect way for this to start out, because I don't know if you guys are like into Lovecraft. I am into his stories. We won't get into him as a human being, because that's just a horror story of its own. But I'm a big fan of his stories, and that's how a lot of his stuff starts out, where it's just a very like ambiguous situation that evolves into just complete madness.
I mean, one of my favorite things is like twisting Lovecraft into like horror movies. And I don't know if you guys have seen Off Season from director Mickey Keating. If you like Lovecraft stuff, definitely go watch that. But I totally agree with what you're saying, because the first scene just completely rips into it immediately. The first half hour of this movie, it's only an hour and a half movie, so the whole entire first act is fucking crazy, and it gets and it ramps up so fast. It's almost like constantly in your face and what the fuck is happening the entire movie, because of how fast it gets into the action and shit. So, all right. Well, Brett, do you want to give us a synopsis of this movie? We'll jump over to IMDb, see what they're saying about it, and then we'll talk about our initial thoughts, tell you if it's worth watching, and then we'll get into spoilers and ratings.
Yeah, The Void is about a small town that is basically, just kind of your everyday small town that you see on every TV show and movie in existence. And it's basically about a group of people stuck in a hospital being attacked by mysterious people. And then they are attacked by very mysterious, violent, and just fucking disgusting creatures. I imagine this is what a tentacle porn lover watches after they're done watching tentacle porn.
That is oddly specific. I feel like maybe you have some experience here.
We're going to need to talk when we get done here.
That's a little too much information. I know more about you than I'd like to. So let's jump over into the podcast drive-in here.
Not enough.
The Void from 2016. It is an hour and a half. It's got a 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. This was directed by Jeremy Gillespie and Steven Kostanski, written by them as well. It stars Aaron Poole, Kenneth Welsh, and Ellen Wong. The one
group of people I know nothing about.
Yeah, these are all people. The doctor is amazing in this, but they're all people I have no idea who they are. And then the one-sentence synopsis from IMDb: shortly after delivering a patient to an understaffed hospital, a police officer experiences strange and violent occurrences seemingly linked to a group of mysterious hooded figures.
This that was close.
That one is actually pretty close. This is one of those movies, man, that just keeps getting twists and turns and fucks with you at every direction. So I'm really interested, Brett, since you're the only one that has never seen this before, I want to hear your thoughts first, because this movie's fucking crazy.
This might be the best Lovecraftian horror movie I've ever seen.
Wow.
So often when people try to do Lovecraft, they do it wrong because it's not that capturing or bringing to life his creatures and his settings is hard. Bringing the feeling you get from a Lovecraft story, bringing that feeling onto screen is so goddamn difficult.
Yeah.
And so many people seem to drop the ball on that. There was a movie I watched, I think it was just called Cthulhu, where like it was clearly made by people who love Lovecraft, but they couldn't quite get the feeling of it on screen. And I'm going to say, as somebody who has made horror movies, even I have a hard time envisioning how you would do that, but this is how you fucking do that. You take it to another level and you start injecting the personal lives, the personal experiences of the people involved, and you almost make it the horror aspect secondary and just happenstance as they go along.
Yeah, this movie succeeds very well at setting up that expositional dread.
Yes.
From the get-go. I mean, like you mentioned already, Brad, the opening scene of this, I again, this is the third time, maybe fourth time I've watched it, and I always forget that opening scene.
It's Brett,
sorry. I know too many people with BR names, but Brett. But
yes, you're right.
You mentioned the opening scene, and it's like I still like watching it this time. I forgot that it opens on that, and it leaves you with such a question mark as to what's going on. And by the end of the movie, you get a little bit of information, but you're still not quite filled in on how the movie even kicks off.
That's, I think, my favorite thing about it is how it just leaves it. It's almost like, and not to, we won't go into spoilers yet, but the very last scene is fucking crazy, and the calm that they give you with all the different the trees and the landscapes and all that stuff after all the really crazy shit happens, and then it goes into all these calming things, and then it goes into this crazy last scene is, dude, it's just it's exactly what you're saying. It's fucking beautiful and
to
awesome.
go along with the theme of using phrases to best describe the movie. That what you're talking about is just very like, what do we do now? Like that's kind of the ending. Like yeah. Now what do we do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this for me, I really enjoyed this. I think that I enjoyed it more the first time that I watched it, although I did really enjoy it this time as well. It's constantly fucking with you, and if you're into violent horror movies, if you're into The Thing, is something that really stuck out in my brain this time. It's very similar to The Thing. The only thing it's missing is the sort of like whodunit thing that The Thing has. But if you're into any of that kind of stuff, which I'm into all that shit, it's almost impossible to not be into this. I think that this connects with horror people, Lovecraft fans, sci-fi people, and people that are really into existential shit. It just hits all of these things. And like you were saying, the existential dread that it brings up through the entire movie is astounding. I'm constantly shocked at how good the fucking acting is, even though I don't know who any of these people are. The fucking doctor is insane in this movie. He's such a strong actor, and I have never seen him in fucking anything before in my entire life. And maybe that's just a me thing. Now I want to kind of look him up, but the acting is great. The color grading kind of got on my nerves a little bit, if I'm being real fucking honest. That
especially
piss
in the
yellow
hospital.
in the hospital is terrible. Everything else is pretty good, but it's that awful piss yellow that's in pretty much this whole thing is pretty bad. The camera work.
Don't they know that's the filter you use when you film in Mexico? You don't film that in hospitals.
What are we in a hospital in Mexico? Anyway, the camera work is really fucking good. The other thing that really astounded me was the sound. The sound in the entire movie is fucking insane, and it fills all of these empty spaces so well, especially with the fucking monsters and stuff. It's just overall, for a relatively small budget movie, this is like beautiful and almost a masterpiece, in my opinion. Like, it's so fucking good.
Do we know what the budget was on it?
No, but I can find out.
The budget for the practical effects. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are practical effects throughout this entire movie. That's another thing that I don't understand why this movie's not getting more attention, is because everybody talks about how practical effects are a thing of the past and nobody uses them as much as they should now. This movie was crowdfunded to pay for the practical effects work in this movie.
That's awesome.
I believe that wholeheartedly, given the not just the detail of it, but the just sheer amount of it, dude.
So this is what Wikipedia says: 82,000.
What the fuck?
How in the fuck did they make this movie for less than $100,000?
That's insane.
It made 377 at the box
By
office.
shafting the crew, Mike. That's how.
I mean, probably. I don't want to think that that's true, but I think that's probably accurate.
Just negotiating with the DP. We're just going to take 1-0 off of that, and here you go.
Now,
that's really impressive, though.
I do know a little bit about Kostanski and Gillespie, the directors of the movie. Now, everybody's probably familiar with Psycho Goreman that came out a couple years back. Steven Kostanski, I can't say his name right.
Sorry.
I believe he is the one who directed Psycho Goreman. He also did the Leprechaun Returns, the sort of reboot of Leprechaun that came out a few years back as well.
Yeah, but he did direct Psycho Goreman. Yeah.
So he was like, I don't want to do that one again. Let's do this better.
But their initial production company that they set up when they started was for like comedic horror sort of stuff. They produced the movie Manborg, which is a very low budget, lo-fi sort of horror sci-fi thing, which is up some people's alley. Like, I haven't ever watched it, but
I haven't either, but I've heard good things from people that are into that kind of stuff.
And this movie was really, they sort of stepped away from their production company. Like, it's not even listed under their production company.
Interesting.
They stepped away and did something a little more serious with this movie. And, just judging upon everything that I've seen that they've worked on, this is a complete departure. And, I can't believe that this movie has flown under the radar as long as it has.
Well, there was a rumor a few years ago in like 2020 that they were going to make a sequel, but I don't think anything ever came out of it.
I would watch a sequel to this.
100%.
I would. This was one of the few movies that when it ended, I went, I would like to see more of that, please.
That's the other thing too, is this movie has a great runtime. Like, if you just want to kill an hour and a half and watch a good movie, put this movie on. Depending on what kind of movies you're into. If you're into horror, dread, and gore, this is your movie. Hour and a half long, simple, easy watch.
Disney, not so much.
Right, exactly.
Well, and if you're into
Mom,
writing,
can we watch The Void again?
If you're into screenwriting or anything, one of the better things that better scripts do is about the 20 to 25 minute mark is when you have your oh fuck moment, and it is perfect in this movie. And I love when a movie is an hour and a half and you literally know that they have half an hour for each act. And so if you're into that sort of thing, it's very clear in this movie how these acts are laid out and how it was written, and it's just something I geeked out about a little bit. So it's super worth it. Also, I wanted to touch on Steven Kostanski directed the Veggie Masher segment from VHS 94. I don't know if either of you have seen that, but
I don't remember that segment, but I do remember watching VHS 94. I like the VHS movies, honestly.
I do too. They're kind of a guilty pleasure. I did not, however, like Leprechaun Returns.
Didn't watch it. Haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm a big fan of the Leprechaun movies, and I did not like it all that much.
This movie does have one actor that is a fairly well-known actor in the horror community. Art Hindle, who plays the sheriff that shows up about 15 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
The old man. He is from Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas. He was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, David Cronenberg's The Brood, Porky's 1 and Porky's 2. So that was their big get for this movie, was Art Hindle, for sure.
And $82,000.
Yeah.
Was their budget.
It really does make me wonder, like, what the hell they paid all these people, because like you said, this has actual real life practical effects in it, and as we all know, that's not super cheap, although it's cheaper than doing CGI. But for how well this movie is seemingly made, $82,000 is fucking nothing.
I'm sure their contract involved a lot of free drugs and oral sex.
That's how we pay for things around here on this production.
You sound like you're speaking from experience on that.
That's a wrap. Blowjob break.
They're making 2 movies at once on this one. you mentioned the tentacle porn earlier. That's the other cut of this movie that we haven't seen.
One's a little more found footage.
Yeah. But the other reason the effects look as good as they do, I do think they you can sort of see the strings a little bit sometimes with the practical effects here, but it was the makeup effects crew that was working on the Suicide Squad at the time.
Well, yeah, if we look into
this budget makes less and less sense the more we talk about the people involved.
Well, no, it does make sense because Steven Kostanski is also known for doing makeup, and if we look at his makeup credits. They're also pretty fucking crazy. Suicide Squad, Crimson Peak, Clown, Hannibal.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing as far as makeup goes, so that actually is not super surprising. Wrong Turn 4, which is fucking crazy.
This is one of those situations almost like Terrifier. Damien Leone, he's a makeup artist. He does all the makeup in those movies. Like, he takes on a lot of what the budget would usually cover for those things himself. Therefore, they don't have to have as big of a budget. And I think that's where they went with this, too. I think Kostanski was really involved in all the makeup work and everything that was going on, and then Gillespie was more or less the second unit director doing all of the screen, the script stuff, and making sure all the shots were being set up correctly and things of that nature. So they sort of double teamed it together, and I guess that's probably how they were able to do it on such a tight budget.
Well, and if we look at his credits, he's in the art department for The Shape of Water. Have you guys seen The Shape of Water? It's fucking beautiful. That movie is such a beautiful film. The art department. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say, every time I come across The Shape of Water, and this is not a joke, I always think it's Lady in the Water, and my first thought is, not today, M. Night Shyamalan. Because I have heard just such terrible things about it. It genuinely is why I have not watched The Shape of Water, because every time somebody brings it up, they say good things about it, but there's such a big lapse in time between then and when I find it that I go,
Well, I have to say, The Shape of Water is fucking completely worth watching. If for nothing else, the camera work, the color work, and the lighting, the production side of things in that movie is fucking insane. It's more of like a love movie, but
Yeah, it's a romance movie, but it's fucking Del Toro, dude. You know it's going to look good if it's a Del Toro movie.
Exactly. I'm going to watch it then.
Yeah, you definitely should.
I will watch literally anything he puts out.
Well, there you go. You have a reason to watch it now. Del Toro was also another reason this movie got made, because he wanted to do some sort of a Lovecraftian sort of style of movie, and that sort of got the directors here their brains cooking on how we could do a Lovecraft story and do it well. And it was sort of a genesis of a conversation they were having with Del Toro at the time.
Interesting. I mean, that makes sense. If we look into this does have a lot of the things that Del Toro, I think, would be super into, including monsters and special effects and good camera work. And like those worlds I can totally see crossing.
Yeah, for sure. Now, this movie does have a lot of similarities to which I don't know if you guys have heard of these movies, but there's Last Shift and Malum. Have you guys heard of these movies?
Malum has been on my fucking watch list for probably a year and a half, and I just haven't gotten around to it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. So
Last Shift is a similar movie to this, and is in that it's a very low budget, no real big actors in it, and it takes place in a seemingly empty police station with some sort of crazy shit going on outside that they're trying to keep out.
I love contained horror movies. Love them.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's the Assault on Precinct 13 syndrome of a movie, And then Malum is just basically a bigger budget remake of that movie with the same director. He basically just was like, hey, you're going to give me a bigger budget. I'm going to remake my movie the way I want to.
I love it when directors do that. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, like case in point, Funny Games, Michael Haneke. He did his foreign version of it, or Australian, I think. I don't know what it is, but then remakes it over here with Naomi Watts and Tim Roth. And, I saw that before the original. So there are directors out there that do that, and that's what they did with Malum. But those seem to have gotten a lot more, there's a lot more like chatter about those movies, I guess maybe because he did that. And I think that could be another reason why The Void flies under everybody's radars, because it is very similar in story to those movies. But I think this takes those movies by a long shot.
It does feel weird that this movie is not talked about more, because it definitely does feel like this should be a bigger cult classic than it actually is. And of course,
right.
I know people are into this movie, and I know that the hardcore horror community knows that this exists, but this should have sparked a franchise, in my opinion. Like, this should be at least 3 movies long, at the very fucking least.
This should be what Lovecraft Country was.
I haven't seen that.
I like Lovecraft Country, but I just feel like it's got the nervousness, it's got the the dread that Josh was talking about, but it doesn't go deep enough into the horror side of things. It really always seems to ride that line of suspense and thriller.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was watching it, I was like, dude, this is what Lovecraft Country should have been, like fucking horror.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like they just don't shy away from the fucking gore. This movie is so gory and gross. The fucking that part where he has to chop dude's head off in order to stop him from being taken over is so fucking intense, because he has to hit it a bunch of times. The shot where they dolly out from the door with the shadow of him hacking her is it's just one of the best fucking shots I've ever seen, and it's just so like classic 60s horror. It's just so perfect. And
at that point in the movie, they did not have to shy away from showing us violence.
No, but the fact that they do, it really, it really sends the message home of that scene of it being really intimate and between them, and not it's not for us.
Right.
This movie also does something that I love when movies do, is it does a lot of visual storytelling. It doesn't bombard you over the head with a bunch of exposition about things.
Yeah.
You know from the moment the cop arrives at the hospital that he's had a relationship with the nurse that's on duty. You don't need it explained to you. Now, they go into that relationship throughout the movie, but
because screenwriting.
Exactly. Like you gotta let somebody know what's going on. But what I find the most impressive about this movie is, we start off with this house and setting someone on fire, and then we're chasing this guy, and it sort of moves slowly up until a specific point. And that point is a nurse stabbing someone in the eye with a scalpel and chopping her own face off.
Bit of an escalation.
Seemingly just out of nowhere, this starts happening, and you're like, whoa, like what I've seen does not equate to what is happening in this movie right now.
And she seems so nice before that, too.
Yeah,
well, they always do.
Also, this also seems a little bit precursor to like Squid Game with the triangle over the face and everything.
Yes,
I haven't seen Squid Game.
Oh, you have? Oh, you should watch Squid Game for sure. I think you'd be into Squid Game. Yeah. Squid Game's really fun. That was the first thing I noticed after this rewatch. When that started to pop up, I was like, oh, it's like Squid Game, which didn't exist the first time I watched this. So yeah,
right. But yeah, I mean, essentially, like you've got all of these things from the Carpenter movies that I love. Like you've already brought up The Thing.
Yeah,
we've got the assault on Precinct 13, one location, and we're just going to stay there the entire time. It also reeks of Prince of Darkness, which I don't know if have you guys seen Prince of Darkness?
Yeah. I fucking love Prince of Darkness.
Which, I mean, it's got all that same shit of the people standing outside of the church, sort of, just sort of coming onto the location and scaring the shit out of everybody. Like,
Brett, have you seen that? Sorry, I need to know if you've seen you. Oh, dude.
If you enjoyed this, I would say you would enjoy Prince of Darkness. It's essentially the same sort of setup. It's a different story, obviously, but it's got a lot of the same themes running through it. It's very Lovecraftian, I would say.
Do you know who's in this? Fucking Donald Pleasance, bro. He's like, I don't know. Go ahead. I fucking love Prince of Darkness. I love it.
It's full of Carpenter's normal cast that he puts in stuff. It's got the guy from Big Trouble in Little China in it.
Kurt Russell.
No, not him.
Jameson Parker, right? The guy that plays Jameson Parker, Brian Marsh, is the guy's name in the movie. Is this who you're talking about?
The guy who played Wang and
you're talking about Victor Wong. Okay.
Well, Victor Wong's in it too, but there's the other guy as well.
Here, let me call this
guys.
up. I know this is you're not talking about Victor Wong. Now I need to know. Here.
Him, Dennis Dunn.
Dennis Dunn.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. That was going to drive me crazy.
Also, Alice Cooper is one of the people outside of the church. But I mean, this also, you've got In the Mouth of Madness, which is another Carpenter movie. Have you seen that?
I know you've seen that. Yeah.
Like, and again, Lovecraft all over that.
Yep.
But dude, this one just, I don't know, the creature side of it is what really drove it home for me.
What's weird about that is you've told me before you're not into body horror.
I mean, it's not like, I don't mean I'm not into it. Like, I don't like it. It's just like, if I go to watch a horror movie, it's not going to be to watch a body horror.
Which is, I think, why he hasn't seen a lot of, like, when we watch Scanners for the first time.
Because you two are disgusting human beings.
David Cronenberg is the king of body horror.
Yes.
So
yeah, I keep telling him he needs to watch more Cronenberg, but the only thing he had seen before that was Naked Lunch. So, which is a weird one. The only one you've seen is that's a weird one.
Yeah, Naked Lunch is not the Cronenberg movie you start with.
I also, I watched that in a super not okay state of mind to be watching Naked Lunch in. And so the first time I watched David Cronenberg was Naked Lunch, and it was on a very, very heavy amount of psychedelics. And the whole time I was just like,
yeah. Definitely not the movie you want to be in that state watching.
No. And it was almost as bad as the first time I watched Hostel Part 2 and walked out of the room yelling at the people that put it on.
There's I won't get into it. I do not like those Hostel movies. I tried to rewatch Hostel 1 the other day. And it wasn't the other day, it was a few months back, but I don't know. Fucking Hostel is meh. Anyway, let's get back to this. Okay, so why don't we go around the room here real quick, do little mini reviews for 2 or 3 minutes. Tell me how you feel about it, whether you think this is worth watching, if somebody has never seen it. And then after we go around the room, we'll talk specifics and spoilers.
I like how you said if somebody hasn't seen it, like I'm not here in the room talking to you, and I'm the only one that hasn't seen it.
Well, that's why we're going to start with you.
I'm going to start with the guest, but yeah, okay, me. I loved this. I really did. It was, like I said, it might be the best Lovecraftian horror I've seen. It's starting to sound like maybe I haven't watched a lot after the last 15 minutes of you two talking, but from what I've seen, this one is the best one. It's got the cult vibe. It's got the occult vibe. And it is far gorier than I thought it was going to be. And all I'm sitting here thinking is these two motherfuckers talked about it. Mike loves gory horror, and he was like, hey, Josh, pick something like this. Because it was so like what Mike would pick to do a movie review. And normally, like, those movies, I enjoy them, but they don't have like that certain zhuzh that I like.
Yeah.
And this had that. But the funny thing is, I didn't know this was Lovecraftian until I was like halfway through it, and I started looking stuff up online about it.
Yeah.
But I did that because at a certain point I went, this has a total Lovecraft feel to it. And when you feel that way, not knowing it's a Lovecraft movie, it's usually a good Lovecraft movie.
Yeah, I agree. You need to see Off Season. Put that on your watch list.
I'll put that on my watch list. I recently started re-listening to the audiobook for Cthulhu, or the Call of Cthulhu, and so this was very interesting timing on your guys' part.
Well, how do you feel? You recommend this? Yes?
I'm totally going to recommend this, and I will be looking for... Is it in 4K?
It is not on 4K.
It's not on 4K, no. This is one I don't own, so...
I don't tend to poison my collection, and so I guess when it comes out in 4K, I'll buy that.
You say with all those Blu-rays behind you.
There's nothing.
Nothing like buying into a format that never quite got off the ground, huh? All right.
Now, let me just say, Brett, I presented three other movies before I said The Void. To Mike, and he was like, "Oh no, let's do The Void."
Okay, that is because I called Brett. Remember, Brett? I called you and I said he's saying 1, 2, and 3.
Let's all soak in me being right for just 1 second.
No, you're right about this being a type of movie that I would choose. Probably, yes.
You chose it. He gave you options.
No,
we
made
the
chose
choice.
it. I called you and said he named this, this, and this, and your exact words were, "I haven't seen The Void, but I've heard good things." And so I said,
pretty sure that's not how that went down.
That's exactly how it went. And so I said, I would love to do The Void, knowing damn well what it was. So yes, there it is. I swayed it a little bit.
Yeah, I swayed it a little bit. You said, I love this movie. I have the pinnacle of emotions for this movie. Do you want to do that one?
I feel like I'm taking a little bit too much of the blame here. All right, well, why don't we let the guests go and tell us your overall thoughts on this and whether you recommend it or not.
Well, obviously, I recommended us talk about it because it's a movie that I do enjoy. And that was my biggest thing is I wanted to make sure one of you hadn't seen it, because this is, like I said in the beginning, definitely a movie that is a product of, if you go into it not knowing what's going to happen, you're going to get your mind blown, whether you're going to be grossed out or you're going to be just completely in awe of the practical effects that are on display, the storytelling, where this movie goes. I mean, where this movie starts is in a very fucked up place. And you're like, well, can't get much more fucked up than this. And oh boy, does it go a lot more fucked up than the beginning.
Yeah. So it's funny because like Mike and I have been talking on the show quite a bit about not about going to movies more blind.
Yeah.
But starting at zeros and getting up to a 10 instead of starting at a 10 and subtracting shit from movies.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But we've also watched some recently where going into it would have been the better option. Or knowing something about that goes into it would have been the better option. But for the most part, we found that not going into them, knowing much, like kind of going in a little blind, maybe everyone watched like a trailer or something, since we don't live in the 90s and they just give you the entire synopsis during the trailer anymore.
Cough, cough, cough. Fucking Abigail. I'm so annoyed by that trailer.
I turned that trailer on. I turned that trailer on yesterday, and I stopped it about 5 seconds in. I was like, "No, I'm not going to watch any more of this." Yeah. But that's the other thing about this movie too, is it was literally just, I found it one afternoon, and I was like, "Well, I wonder what this is," and I turned it on, having not seen a trailer for it, having not heard anything about it. I literally just saw the movie, and I was like, "Let's give it a shot," and lo and behold, it blew my mind. And if you're like I've been saying the entire time, if you're a fan of John Carpenter, if you're a fan of Hellraiser, Clive Barker, any of that sort of stuff,
Hellraiser's a good one to bring up. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen
that one.
I've been touting John Carpenter this whole time, but this movie goes John Carpenter about 80% of the time, and then the last 20% of this movie is full on Hellraiser, Clive Barker territory. And it goes into the same sort of style as like Mandy, which I don't know if you guys have seen Mandy.
Yeah.
It's got vibes from that. The Color Out of Space. Have you guys seen that one?
Another great one.
No, that one's on my watch list though.
Yeah.
And it kind of does what this one does. It sets up a fairly simple premise and then goes in directions that you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And plus
Nicolas Cage is great in those types of movies.
Yes, and you got Nick Cage completely. I mean, he's not in that movie as much as you would think he is. Honestly, he's not the main character of that one.
There was another one. What was the other one he did where he's like a lumberjack? No, where he's like a lumberjack.
Oh,
well, that's Mandy, isn't it?
That's Mandy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Mandy? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I did. When you said Mandy, I was thinking of the what's the one with the animatronic little girl?
Oh, Megan.
Yeah. I was thinking of that one, and Mike went, I liked that, and I was like,
no, we watched that together. We hated that.
It was
we watched
garbage.
that in a group of like 4 or 5 people on Discord, and everyone hated it. Yeah.
I had fun with Megan when I watched it.
I had fun ending it.
It made me want to end it.
But yeah, I mean, this is a movie that is made for anybody who enjoys the nostalgia of an 80s horror film.
Yeah.
This is right up your alley. I mean, again, like, I can't believe it's flown under the radar as much as it has. Like, I know people talk about this movie, but I don't think people talk about it nearly enough. It's got a great mystery that develops over the course of this movie into a spot where you're just like, I can't believe what I'm watching here.
Well, it's also really easy to skip over if you're like going through streaming, because you like, for me, I've seen this thing pop up on streaming before. And I thought, like, judging from the cover art, because I do judge a book by its cover in this respect.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a ripoff of The Abyss. And so when I always saw it, pull up the cover art for The Abyss.
Well,
I could see that, I guess.
For some reason, I can't. Hang on.
You're just making it bigger and smaller.
I know what I'm doing. Hang on. I know it doesn't look like it currently.
It doesn't, because from what you're doing, it looks like you're just scrolling up and down on your mouse wheel erratically.
I know. So yeah, here's the Void one. And then what was the other one you brought up?
The Abyss.
Yeah.
It's going to look nothing like it, and I'm just going to look stupid.
No, I mean,
not really.
There's similarity there. No. I mean, just from seeing that, but
for some reason I can't. It's the way I have everything set up.
It's okay. This is not going in my favor already, so go ahead and end this and let's move on.
Now, this was James Cameron, Brett. This one was James Cameron.
Yes.
I know.
I know what you're thinking of, because I've got it. Hang on.
This is the one where they go look for the Titanic and they find aliens.
Right. There you go.
Yes.
This is the precursor to Titanic.
Yes.
What you're thinking of is this.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
And then the Void, yes, they are very similar. Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, it's like, it looks like a ripoff of The Abyss. And now I realize what a jackass I've been, and I could have watched a really good movie long ago.
I mean,
stop judging things by the cover, Brett.
No, that's how you get through life, Josh. You judge shit immediately and then decide how to go. It's why my social life is so rich.
There's so many things I want to say.
Your social life that you have on the internet with 2 other people.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, for me, I definitely recommend this movie. This is one of those things that, like you said, if you go into this, the less you know about it, the better it kind of is. But also, as a rewatch, this totally fucking stands up, and that is not something that happens to me often. When I can watch a movie more than 1 or 2 times and still be completely wrapped up in it, not pick up my phone, not want to pick up my phone the entire time of the movie, I end up loving the movie generally. And so for me, I'm not hyper into Lovecraft nearly as much as Brett is. It's just not something I'm super into, but what I am into are 80s horror movies, special effects, practical effects specifically. and very good writing. And this has fucking all of it. And then on top of that, you put in awesome camera work, amazing shots like the one I was talking about earlier with the fucking axe where they dolly out from the fucking door. That stands out in my head so fucking much for this movie. It was something that I vividly remembered from the first time I watched it. What was that? 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. And so it's just this movie has stuck in my brain since the very first time I watched it. And even though I didn't remember a play-by-play thing when I rewatched it this time, I remembered how much I did love it. And so I was actually excited to watch this again. Like I said, I may have swayed our fucking choice here just a hair, just like barely a hair. But that is because it's worth it. And I knew that, Brett, you would like it because like you said, I think you said this in, it might have been in Scanners. Maybe it was in Possessor, but whenever you see the tag sci-fi, you go into stuff a little more open-minded. I think that's why you like this, because this has every single little thing that you would like all wrapped into one thing. And so this for me is a very fucking good movie. Very good.
I did like it. I just don't like being manipulated. You sick, twisted little man.
I do things for reasons. It's, sometimes it's the reasons are gonna fly over your head. Maybe
that is the most toxic thing you could have said. I'm doing it for your own good.
It's for your own good, and if I manipulate the outcome of some things, you just gotta trust me.
I'll go get dinner.
I mean, you said it yourself, Brett. You thought this was going to be an Abyss ripoff, so therefore you just keep passing it by.
Right.
So we just sort of nudged it in your direction.
Exactly. Yeah. No, enable him. Fuck you both.
All right. Well, I want to get into spoilers and specifics here. So if you've not seen this, we're going to start talking about spoilers from here on out. Does anybody want to lead us off in here and have anything specific you want to talk about?
I want to talk about one thing before we get into spoilers. You mentioned the piss yellow tint.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering it correctly, doesn't that increase as the tension increases, or is it there the whole time?
I think it's there the whole time because I feel like whenever I was watching it, immediately I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? The second they get into the hospital. So.
Okay, but now we can get into spoilers. I wanted to bring that up because I was sitting here thinking about it, and I think you might be right, but I was like, I feel like it was a little more pronounced once shit really starts hitting the fan.
Well, when they go into the darker areas in the hall underneath the burned out part and all that stuff, it's not there. It's actually really clean looking and really pleasant to look at as far as the color grade goes. But every time we're up there, and maybe it's just those fucking lights that the hospital has, although you could balance for that. I don't know.
You could, but that was what I was going to say. I mean, dude, if they're balancing for that and they're only working with the practical lighting that they had on hand, because I mean, they've got an $82,000. They got an $82,000 budget. I've worked with lighting packages that were half of that.
Yeah.
And so if they're going into this from a practical sense,
they may have just not had the lighting gear to be able to fix it. Yeah.
Then once they went down there, they didn't really have much of a choice, but you could light that whole fucking thing with 150 watt apertures.
Well, and your white balance is only going to get you so far if the fucking yellow ass lights are that bad. So yeah.
Well, that's the other thing about the look of the movie too is low budget and whatnot. It also has that sort of film grain look to it as well. It's not as glossy as a more modern day movie would look.
Yeah, and again, that makes me think they went with practicals and had to probably bump up the ISO on the camera.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, they just don't have great lighting, so
it works. It works, but I'm starting to think that's probably what it was.
I wonder if we can figure out what this was shot on.
That might take some digging.
If it go to what was it, shoton.com, I think.
Enter the Void, but they don't have the Void, really?
No, Enter the Void. Completely different, more fucked up movie.
iPhone.
I'm not seeing it on here.
Hey, I mean, did you see that Steven Soderbergh movie that was shot on an iPhone? You can't really complain about an iPhone too much.
Yeah, because he's got an entire lighting crew. Oh my God. I got into this with somebody the other day when he was going on and on about how amazing his iPhone was, and he brought up Unsane. I was like, yes. And he had professional gaffers and DPs and a whole lighting crew. And he was using a specific app meant for that. Fuck your iPhone.
Whenever the iPhone 15 came out, they did the whole thing shot on iPhone, and then when you look at the behind the scenes thing, it's a crew of like 50 or 60 people with balloon lights and fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment, and they're not even using the camera app that's built into the iPhone to shoot the iPhone commercial and announcement. They're using a third party, and they're using a cage with all sorts of other like lenses and shit on it. It's very misleading.
Everything's a lie.
It's very misleading. Yeah.
Like, you thought Steven Soderbergh was walking around with one of these numbers?
He's not doing this.
To be fair, he's using a very small gimbal in a wheelchair. That was his dolly.
But all right. Well, does anybody have anything specifically they want to go into, spoiler wise or other?
Josh, let's let Josh take the lead on that.
Well, here's the only thing I would say is kind of a knock on this movie for me is there's not a lot of storytelling involved in what's actually happening throughout this.
That's true.
You do have to sort of put the pieces together yourself. And trust me, I'm not the kind of person that needs a story told to me. I hate long scenes of exposition.
Yeah, me too.
You're a big Elden Ring fan, eh?
No. But this is the only thing that I have a problem with this movie is by the end of it, I'm still like, okay, what? Like, I don't know what all has happened. I know the doctor is involved. I know that the baby that this woman is carrying around in her belly is the doctor's because he's trying to rebirth his daughter that died. But all of the other, shit that beyond Into the Void stuff is just like, oh.
That's where you need to start reading Lovecraft, because once I saw them go into the void, I went, yes, yes. And then he pushed him in, and I was like, yes, we're gonna go in. Because it's just, and then once they get in there, like you look and you're like, oh my God, dude, like they nailed that fucking aesthetic in that area.
What I want to know is where the fuck is the doctor? Because they cut to him and his wife or ex-wife, I guess, in there.
He's the guy.
Where is he on that last scene?
Probably trying to get that fucking axe out of his collarbone.
It's like the guy just tackled him in there and there was like, oh, okay, well, be on your merry way.
Yeah, he's gone now. We don't need to worry about him anymore. But that's why I think this movie could seriously benefit from a fucking sequel, because they leave us on such a hanger that it's just like, what?
Well, and I like to imagine that before he sees his wife, the two of them just go through the void and just have that moment of, so I'm gonna go try to figure this. Yeah, I'm actually just gonna go this way, and then just like this long wide shot of them just walking across the plain.
The first thing
and
I
then
thought
he meets his wife.
Whenever that scene popped up was like, oh, that's lucky. You guys popped right next to each other. That's good. You didn't have any trouble finding each other. Yet the doctor is nowhere to be found.
Maybe the doctor is his wife in that realm. Plot twist.
But no,
they were in on it the whole time.
That's the thing. Can you explain to us a little bit more about the void, since you know more about this than we do?
Well, okay, to be clear, I am not like some like I don't know everything about Lovecraft stories, because again, I have this very like love-hate thing with him. He has very good stories, but then he's also got a poem, which I don't know if you guys know about the poem. He has what is probably the most racist diatribe written out in poetic prose that I've ever read in my entire life. And so like I've gotten into some of his stories, and then what happened was I started diving into him and I stopped reading some of his stories. And so now I'm starting to come back to him. That's all to say, there's a lot to be interpreted by the void that they end up in. To me, it feels like they end up in the realm of where all of Lovecraft's creatures come from or exist, because there's actually like a whole universe of his creatures like that are related to one another, almost in the way of like the demons of hell and that kind of thing, which is also a really good fantasy story if you haven't read the Bible. And so it's kind of laid out that way. And so I'm not exactly sure what is there. To me, it felt like they're now in the realm of where these creatures are coming from, because they're supposed to rule like gods, essentially.
So I guess my question then is, what power is the Doctor pulling from to make all of this happen? Like,
did you not see the giant pyramid?
Is that all it is? Like, because
I don't know.
Because my biggest question coming away from the movie this time was like, okay, sure, he's gotten all this power. A, who or what gave it to him? B, how is he able to control it? C, what other than bringing his daughter back and, you know, all of that stuff, what is the overall end goal here? Because none of those things are fucking answered. And that's what bothers me the most about this.
It would be easier to answer those if they went into what exactly, like obviously this cult is trying to bring creatures into this world, but they never talk about a specific one.
Right.
And so I feel like, yeah, it'd be a lot easier to say, like, you know, if they were getting their power from something. But as we know from watching South Park, Cthulhu doesn't give you power. You just align yourself with Cthulhu.
What is it where it throws him up or whatever it is? Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, it's so open-ended as to where all of this is coming from, what his end goal is, how he plans to... because the thing that really bothered me is where he's like, I made her a mother, and then she crumbles into dust. Is that all in his head? That scene really fucked with me a lot this time, because I guess I just don't understand if that was all internal, if that actually happened.
Well, and by the time we get to that point in the movie, there have been so many mind fucks.
Yes.
That I'm just sitting here going like, okay, yeah, sure.
Well, the biggest thing is the cop that shows up at the hospital, the main character of the movie. I can't remember the cop's name at the moment, but he seems to be the catalyst for all of this, because he shows up to the hospital. He immediately starts having these visions after he experiences this creature, and it's like all of this seems to be revolving through him, and then we find out it's because his wife miscarried a baby and all of this stuff. So it's like she became the vessel for this doctor to be able to do his thing. But it doesn't really go into like why him and his wife.
Well, because once you give birth or miscarry, it's easier for you to get pregnant. Everybody knows this.
You're essentially soiled as a human being.
It's like this grace period where your body just goes, give me another one.
But that doesn't explain him, like the cops thing.
No,
as
I
much,
see what you're saying. He seems to be the vessel that triggers all of this to happen, even though the doctor has been going about trying to make all this happen for a while. For some reason, he's wrapped up in this for seemingly no other reason other than he too also lost a child. So there's some sort of duality there or something, maybe. I'm not sure.
Could it be more of like... Could it be more that this is like a secluded event that, you know, it just has not yet affected the entire town and they just happen to be caught in the middle of it?
Yeah.
I would lean more into that if it showed more than just the cop having these visions of things, though. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
Because he's the one who's having all these visions of the void and all the shit that's going on and whatnot. So that's the only reason I'm kind of like, what makes him so special? Why is he the focus on this?
I would chalk it up, even though this is me interjecting something that's not in the movie at all. if we're gonna go the Lovecraftian route with this, I would say that there may have been like some kind of portal that had been opened up and is now affecting things within like a certain radius or area.
Well, yeah,
and so there could be that as well. There could be that as well. Why he's having these now, granted, nobody else is having these visions, but I mean, maybe he just has more mental fortitude, which is why these other people seem to be getting, possessed almost like the nurse. Do we ever understand why she went crazy?
No, she just
right. does.
Okay.
Just hacks her face off and stabs a guy in the eye.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I guess a lot of it has to do with the portal in the basement or whatever, and probably affecting the people in some radius or some shit.
Right.
So yeah, I would imagine it's. I don't know. Because what I wanted was for the Doctor to have his big evil villain monologue moment, and that almost happens. Like he goes just far enough where you get some answers, but not far enough to where I feel satisfied with the shit that he's saying and his justifications and his reasoning for doing everything. I get it.
Well, it's probably got something to do with the accent, isn't it?
Well, I get it. I get it. You're a fucking dad that lost his kid. That's fucking horrible. But so is the cop. And he didn't go fucking crazy and try to, summon demons from some other world or whatever. So I just feel like his justifications are a little fucking weak. And to be able to control death and all of that shit. I get, as a doctor, he's been dealing with all that stuff his entire life. And so he's been surrounded by trying to put death off, I think is the way he puts it. So some of the justification there sits well, but for the most part, I just kind of feel like, yeah, fucking wah. Like the fucking cop went through this same shit. Like, fucking deal with it the way everyone else who has ever lost a child has fucking dealt with it, and don't make it the world's problem. Let alone, do we know if he's the leader / starter of this cult, or what the fuck is the deal with that? Because I'm confused on that part, on that end as well.
I feel like he's at least like the leader of the cult. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he necessarily started the cult, but I do think he is.
Cthulhu started the cult.
There you go.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Are the horns real? They are, right? They're what's calling in his followers? Because the fucking the cop literally reacts to him at one time. Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not diegetic.
Because that's the other thing. It's like, I don't know if the horns are calling him, who's using them. Like, there's so many fucking questions I have to all this fucking plot that I just don't. I'm so confused by all of it. But on the other side of it, it's also why I enjoy this movie so much, because I like the fact that we can sit around and talk about this and interpret this in different ways.
Yeah.
That's another thing that sort of lends a comparison to The Thing with this movie is The Thing doesn't answer all those questions for you. You're literally left wondering if The Thing is still alive at the end of that movie. And there's debate for it. There's debate against it.
Yeah.
The same could be said for this. I mean, it's just another one of those things where it's like, let's not give you the answer. Let's let you pine over what just happened and figure it out for yourself. And me being like, I love that shit. I come from a musical background. I love when lyrics metaphorically explain things to me, and I make my own judgment on what that means as opposed to what the songwriter was actually saying.
Art.
Art. There you go. And so, I mean, while I would like more answers to these things, it doesn't bother me so much as it's just like, it would be nice to know that stuff,
Right. Well, and that's why I was wanting a sequel like that.
Yes.
That's why this is one of the few movies that I've seen, because Mike and I have made our opinions on sequels and remakes very clear. And this is not something that I want a lot, but this is one of those ones where I'm like, dude, I would watch a sequel to this.
Well, that last scene has sequel written all fucking over it.
Yeah.
Like I want to see what happens after that. Like, how the fuck do they deal with being there?
And where they're going to get food? Where's the water to be found?
Where are they going to poop? I don't know. All of these things are things I want to know. I need to know.
What's the deal with void food?
If it's anything like ESO, there's like crazy void deer running around that they'll have to kill or something.
and moon sugar.
The biggest thing you have to sort of take with a grain of salt with like getting sequels to movies like this, especially low budget movies, is the low budget movies that end up being good, like this one, that completely blow you away, that you're just like, how did they make this movie on this budget? Those sort of things. It's like, okay, usually if they ever do try to venture into sequel territory with those kind of movies, it just cheapens it from that point forward.
I know.
That's true.
And that's why we hate them.
So it's kind of one of those like, do you really want what you're asking for there? It's like, or is it better that we just have this one and we're left with all these questions?
No.
So,
well, I mean, you can see the sensibilities of this movie all over Psycho Goreman. You just can. Like, that's a different direction because it's slightly more aimed at, like, I don't want to call it kids horror, but that's kind of what it is.
See, I haven't watched Psycho Goreman.
Oh, you
so
haven't? Oh, you should watch Psycho Goreman. It's definitely... If you like this, it's up your alley. It's definitely wackier, but it's got the same kind of sensibilities as far as the production side of things go.
Yeah.
So
I've heard good and bad about it, and it's one of those where I've just been like, I'm not ready to watch it.
Yeah,
yet.
I mean, if you got a little bit to kill, it's worth a watch at least once if you're into kind of gross out humor and practical effects and stuff. So. But I can definitely, what led me to that was I was just like, what the fuck are these guys done since then? And it's Leprechaun Returns, Divorced Dad, which is some TV series they did one episode of, and then Psycho Goreman, a segment on VHS, and then the Day of the Dead TV show, which was, I didn't like it. So I'm sitting here thinking like, we're basically like, please give us more of this. Well, okay, what has he done since then? And Steven Kostanski, it's not enough. Like if I had to, I don't know, if I had to guess, I'd be like, oh, he was doing so much shit and got so much hype off this movie because it's so good. No. Like, what the fuck? And this goes into what we've been talking about. Like, why don't more people talk about this movie? This clearly doesn't get the fucking... the praise that it deserves, because I just don't understand why this guy is not making more higher budget shit when he pulled this off with less than $100,000. That's fucking crazy, and I don't understand it.
Yep.
So,
and I mean, even the practical effects in this movie, like I said, you can see see the tape in the wire sometimes. I don't think that takes away from it, though. I think that endears it even more. Yes. It's like, yeah, they busted ass and made something that might look fake, but it looks a lot better than any CGI we would have seen.
Yeah, but dude, the gore looks real. That's the big thing. Like, the gore looks really, really good. Like, dude, when the tentacles are going into
oh my god,
eye sockets, and they just keep going in, I'm just sitting here going like, oh, that is fucking cool.
Even when they chop his head off, it looks fucking insane. Like, the editing helps it a lot, the way they do all these fast cuts and stuff.
The lighting helps it too, because they really keep a lot of it in the dark.
Yeah.
And this is one of those ones where, like, you low light the shit out of it and stick to that shadow side, and you're going to get away with a lot.
You just spray it with a lot of lube and a lot of water, make it look really wet and gross. And it's just, dude, it just fucking works. Like, it's fucking...
Like, case in point is the scene where the two guys, the two guys from the beginning come in and start hacking the monster to pieces. Like, they the cuts they make in the editing there really try to hide everything that you don't want people to see in there, and the lighting is just strobing the entire time. So like they knew they had to dress it up to where it didn't look as fake as it really is, you know.
Yeah, but dude, that's not something you get without experience, and skill. Right. Like that is somebody who knows not just what they want to do, but they're already thinking about how it's going to look in the editing bay.
Right. Well,
I'm wondering who did the cinematography for this, now that we're talking about this, because...
Roger Deakins.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dean Cundy did it. Dean Cundy's shot everything.
So it's somebody named... fuck, I fucked with this again. Hang on.
Sammy Inya?
Yeah, Sammy Inya.
Anaya.
Yeah, I can't pronounce that.
Jesus, guys, you're as culturally insensitive as he is.
Well, I'm just curious what else he has done.
You can't say
Well,
that.
I don't know what their pronouns are.
I believe the proper term is it.
No, okay.
I wonder what
so
it's
we've been talking
Please
about
cut
an
that
$82,000 budget. It was less than $82,000 is what it says. It has the less than sign, less than $82,000. That's fucking hilarious.
That's fucking crazy. And I'm looking. I'm not really seeing much as far as cinematography goes after this. Not that I've seen anyway. A lot of TV, music videos, shorts, but not. Why is no one who made this movie getting more props? What the fuck is happening?
Also, the box office wasn't great for this. I mean, for the budget they had, they got $377,000 back.
And consider, I wonder how much they
show
spent
for
on
one afternoon in Texas.
I know, right? I wonder what they spent to actually market this too. But it's a lot of the person that did the cinematography has done a lot of. Like I was expecting to pull this up and be like, oh, this is the person that did ... But no, 8-Bit Christmas, whatever the fuck that is.
I saw that. That was kind of funny.
Little Yachty, Drake, and DaBaby's Oprah's bank account music video.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Take what you can get when the masterpiece you made isn't
and
paying you.
They made bank on doing a video for them.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a little bit of an asterisk here as far as the budget goes. So I'm looking into this now. Creature effects were crowdfunded on Indiegogo and raised $82,510. While the film's funding was done through traditional channels by the production company. So it had a bigger budget than that.
Okay.
It's just that they raised $82,000 for the creature effects.
So this is why, because if it made less than 400,000, we don't know how much the other half of it was put into it. So
I mean, they had to spend at least between like $2 to $5 million, right? Like between everything else that's going on.
I don't see how they made this movie for under $1 million.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
for sure. Because us walking around thinking this is an $82,000 movie, this is mind blowing. But now we know that they spent almost $100,000 on effects only. And
all right, well, let's go and just start this episode over again.
That changes the entire conversation. Yeah. This is what happens when I do a surface level Google. So, okay.
Hey.
Well, let's go into our final thoughts and our ratings on The Void. Josh, you want to start us off? We usually do out of 10.
Out of 10, okay. So for The Void, I mean, again, this is the third or fourth time I've watched it. I like it just as much as I liked it the first time. This time, I would say this is probably a solid 7.5, maybe even an 8 for me. Like, I think it's a hell of a movie, especially for a small budget, independent horror gore fest. I mean, this is better than 90% of what you will find on Tubi right now, I think.
For sure. Tubi is full of so much trash, including Brett's movie.
It does have my movie.
I'm sorry.
My movie is on there, and it's. I tried so hard.
But no, I again, 7.5, maybe even an 8. Right. I would definitely recommend this to any horror fan. It's definitely, if you like horror movies, I don't see why you wouldn't like this one. This is a great under the radar cosmic horror movie full of dread and gore that is right up any horror fan's alley. Yeah,
that's a pretty good rating. I think that's more than fair. So, Brett, why don't you give us your final thoughts and your rating on The Void from 2016?
I too am going to give The Void an 8 out of 10. It is a phenomenal cosmic power. No, it's from Aladdin. He's looking at me like I'm weird. It's from Aladdin.
Okay, no, I just didn't understand the reference. Okay, that makes more sense.
It's God, I hate myself. It feels like a creature feature, and it only stops feeling like a creature feature because of the story behind it, because of the elements of the movie itself. And once you find out that it is a Lovecraftian horror movie, or once you start to realize it like I did, it becomes even better because it takes on a whole new form at that point. Like once the creatures are established in at least some semblance of a world like Lovecraft, the whole thing takes on a different vibe at that point. And once it took on that vibe for me, I was already on board, but once once we get to the scene of the girl in the hospital room, with the guy that's like chained up or handcuffed.
Yeah.
Like once you see that, you think creature feature, and then once it goes along, it's almost like they on purpose wanted you to think it was a creature feature and then ease you into the Lovecraft side. And that's what's so good about this movie is it's like they made sure to put a level of finesse into every aspect of it. Nothing is just sandwiched in your face. Nothing is just jumped into except the action. And they did such a good job of really giving this movie room to breathe and evolve. And I would love to see it continue doing that in the form of a sequel.
That may be something we never get, though.
I know.
I mean, that's another aspect of it I love as well, Brett, is you can go into this movie thinking one thing, and by the end of it, you're not even close to what you thought this movie was going to be when you started watching it. Like,
even the very, very last scene, it's like if you really look at where we start this movie off in front of some rundown house in the woods, and then we end it in Otherworld. It's this huge evolution from beginning to end, and the fact that we can get from point A to point Z and hit B through Y at every single fucking turn is incredible.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you gave that a 8 out of 10?
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, I'm right there along with both you guys. This is an 8 out of 10. I don't feel comfortable giving it any higher than that because there are. I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit too low budget, and there's a little bit too many things here and there. Like, for instance, the piss yellow color, all that stuff we said about lighting no longer applies, considering now we know that it was made for more than $82,000. So I feel like it's just, I can't go any higher than that. But the acting, the special effects, the fucking script is really, really fucking well written. It's smart. It's fun. And honestly, I feel like if I were to know nothing about this the way that you did, I would feel the exact same way. I was prepped before I watched this for the first time. They were like, oh, this, and this. It's very Lovecraftian and blah, 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 blah. So I never got that experience out of it. And so for me, I can only go off of how I've watched this a second time now. I think this is this is my second time watching it. I really, really fucking enjoyed this a second time around. I don't know if it's gonna stand up for a third or fourth, but for me, I really fucking enjoyed this a second watch through, and that's not something that happens a lot in especially weird unfolding horror movies in this way. This is something that if you know what's coming, generally speaking, in other films, you're like, okay, you're gonna do this, and this, and it just doesn't hold your attention in the same way. This held my attention the entire time. It's fun, it's smart, it's beautiful to look at. Mm-hmm. The sound is phenomenal. I don't know who did the fucking Foley for this, but they absolutely killed it. And I just enjoyed this all the way through to a surprising amount again. I really didn't think that this was going to hold up to the film that I had built up in my head after I watched it in 2017. And it totally does. And that's fucking hugely surprising for me because most of the time I'm like kind of bored on stuff I've seen before.
He doesn't like anything.
I don't like anything.
Considering the state that modern horror has been in over the last 5 or 6 years, I mean, again, I'm so surprised that this movie has flown under the radar. Like there
was
are
very
so
ahead
many
of its time in that way. Yeah,
there are so many worse movies that have gotten far more attention than a movie like this, and I think that's just ridiculous.
And what's even more ridiculous is none of the people that made it have gone on to do stuff where I'm like, oh, fuck, they made ... Not one of them. Yeah. Like some of them have worked on other big things, but none of them have made another thing like this where I'm like, fuck, yes, I need to see that.
Do you think something traumatic happened on set that just drove all of them out of the industry?
They all have the void curse.
They're just all bartenders and Uber drivers now.
It's like Seinfeld. All right. Well, does anybody else have any final closing thoughts?
No, I'm good.
No, dude, it was like it was just this was a very surprisingly good movie that made me want to go watch or seek out more Lovecraftian horror movies because it was so good. And when you see what you can really do with that world of, with that genre and that, that universe, even though it never specifically says we're in that universe, that's kind of how that whole thing works anyway. Yeah. Like it's just, it's the world. So these things happen to different people in different ways. And when you see that done properly, it really makes me want to go seek out more movies like that because it really is something that stands on its own.
Well, I'm going to scream this again. Go watch Off Season. It's not nearly as gory or any of that. But if you like this, you'll probably like Off Season. It's a very different movie, but it is in the same world as that. And it's really fucking good. And hey, bonus points. It's by the same director that directed Darling, the movie I never ever shut up about. So
all I've got to do is go write my suicide note after this. So I'll probably just watch it while I type that out.
Have you seen Darling, Josh?
I actually have. I got a digital copy of it because you have talked so highly of it, but I have not sat down and watched it yet.
I fucking love that movie.
Actually, I turned it on at probably like 1:30 in the morning one time.
It's a good late
night movie.
Oh,
I'm going to watch this real quick, but it was so late that I was just like, no, I'm going to fall asleep before I watch this right now.
It's very slow at the beginning, but that movie's fucking great.
What version did you buy?
Don't even know.
He's harping on the fact that you didn't buy physical.
You bought a digital copy?
Yeah, I bought a digital copy, Brett.
Like on Amazon?
No, on Apple.
But you have to stream it.
You know what though? I'll give you a pass on this because Mickey Keating is another guy that makes fucking awesome movies, and he does not get the fucking credit that he deserves. So supporting that movie in any way and that director is a good thing.
This is more me just keeping the anger about physical versus digital going because I see it slipping away everywhere. I
went to the Best Buy yesterday that has all the movies that I've been buying over the last like 2 months. All gone. Gone. So,
well, if it makes you feel any better, Brett, I am a huge physical media collector.
I know
that
you are.
That just happened to be the easiest way I could get hold of that movie.
I know you are. I just feel like if I don't keep that negativity out there as often as possible, it'll fizzle away forever. It's got nothing to do with you.
I don't think it has a Blu-ray.
It may not. I will say though, if after you watch Off Season, watch Prince of Darkness as well.
For sure.
If you liked this, you will probably like Prince of Darkness also.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it has a physical release now that we're fucking talking about it. I watched it on Shudder. So
well, then in that case, let me just say I did pay for it. At least I did pay for it.
Yeah, I know, but the problem is extrapolated beyond you at this point now. Now knowing that, I'm upset for other reasons, like it not being an option.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Josh. This was a lot of fun. We'll have to have you on again.
Thanks for having me.
If you like this, make sure you hit the like button. If you really liked it, make sure you hit the subscribe button because we got a lot more content like this on the channel. If you haven't seen what we've been up to, we've been doing a lot of trailer reactions. We did a drunk watch, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months ago, something like that. I think we may do another one of those soon. There's a lot of content over here on the YouTube channel that the RSS feed does not get. So if you're only listening to us as a podcast, like in your car, whatever, make sure you go check out the YouTube channel because there's a ton of stuff over there that you won't get otherwise. So
and if you'd like to be a guest on the show, I'll be blasting Mike's number and email address on Instagram and Twitter following the episode.
So anyway, thanks for watching. And we'll see you guys next time from the deep. Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.